Contemporary issues and concerns, impacts on Black life. This is another Seeking Zion production. The Mental Health of America states that racism is a mental health problem because racism causes trauma, and trauma paints a direct line to mental illnesses that must be taken seriously. There is also a study that suggests that Black families have inherited trauma. The major question, however, is are these patterns authentically ours and are they the result of cultural PTSD? Yet the largest of the studies suggests that Black Americans have altered DNA from slavery and trauma. In this video vlog, we will examine religion, spirituality, social status, and suggestions that can begin a healthy journey to recovering pieces of ourselves that have been lost in the fire due to systemic institutions that have plagued us as African Americans. As I stated, the largest of the studies suggests that Black Americans have altered DNA from slavery and trauma. We will start with the simplest of these with the conversation of drapetomia, which is described as an overwhelming urge to run away from home, bad situations, and responsibilities. Dr. Samuel Cartwright, a Louisiana physician, claimed to have discovered two mental diseases peculiarly in Blacks in his research. Diseases and Peculiarities of the Negro Race, published in 1851, which he believed justified the continuance of enslavement. He states, "In my experience, the genuflex, the awe and reverences must be demanded from them. Otherwise they will despise their masters, become rude, ungovernable, and run away." On the Mason and the Dixon line, two classes of people were apt to lose their Negroes. Those who became too familiar with them, treated them as equals, and made little or no distinction with regard to color, and on the other hand, those who treated them cruelly, denied them the common necessities of life. Those that neglected to protect them against the abuses of others, or frightened them by a blustering manner of approach, when about to punish them for misdemeanors. Before the Negroes run away, unless they are frightened or panic-struck, they become sulky and dissatisfied. The cause of this sulkiness and dissatisfaction should be investigated and removed. Otherwise, they are apt to run away or fall into Negro consumption. Cartwright continues that when sulking and dissatisfied without cause, the experience of those on the line and elsewhere was decidedly in favor of whipping them out of it as a preventive measure against absconding or other bad conduct. It was called whipping the devil out of them. A study suggests that Black families have inherited trauma. The major question, however, are these patterns authentically ours, and which are a result of cultural PTSD? PTSD is defined by Webster's dictionary as a psychological reaction that occurs after experiencing a highly stressful event, such as wartime, combat, physical violence, or a natural disaster, that is usually characterized by depression, anxiety, flashbacks, recurring nightmares, and avoidance of reminders of events. The Mental Health Technology Center Network description. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, has been found to have disproportionately higher prevalence in Black and other communities of color. This condition can be triggered by directly experiencing or witnessing a wide variety of traumatic events, including, but not limited to, domestic violence, homicide, mass incarceration, and police shootings. The mental struggles of African Americans have not stopped. It seems that the blood of the ancestors that run deep within has also left the experiences of every generational assault and must be addressed in churches, communities, and other platforms. The Mental Health of America states that racism is a mental health problem because racism causes trauma, and trauma paints a direct line to mental illnesses that must be taken seriously. Racism can manifest itself structurally, institutionally, interpersonally, and internally. It can refer to a variety of minority groups such as anti-Semitism, homophobia, Islamophobia, and xenophobia. However, the concept of race is socially significant for African Americans because it underpins social oppression and exclusion, both of what can have serious negative consequences for one's mental health and well-being. A timeline and systemic review found that racism is significantly associated with poor health, with the link being especially strong for mental health and less robust for physical health. Several studies have found that racial discrimination has a negative impact on mental health, particularly the development of affective psychotic and substance use disorders. As African American, contemporary issues in Black life need active solutions, and as religious leaders, theologians, spiritual advisors, community partners, friends, and family members, it seems that what is needed within African American communities are more safe spaces that allow the room for Black expression, Black experience, and Black healing. These safe spaces will allow the BIPOC community opportunities to meet with counselors or an understanding community circle and know they are safe to share their experiences that affect them on a daily basis. Religious experience is a component of African American practice. However, the time has come for the religious community of pastors, clergy, theologians, spiritualists, and healers to broaden their spiritual interests to include community circles for those in the community dealing with mental health and systemic issues. As family and friends spend quality time with one another, set time aside during outings and intimate family and friend time to check in on the mental state of your loved ones. Family and friendship are considered safe spaces and community circle. There is nothing more important than a supportive family, using these tools to help others during their personal struggles. Our supreme duty is to advance toward freedom, physical, mental, and spiritual, and to help others to do so. Author Swami Vivekananda. This has been another Seeking Zion production.